Welcome to Dead Time with your host, Holly Faust. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dead Time Tales. This episode, it's just me here solo to discuss a few of my favorite things. The paranormal crossing with true crime and urban legends. It's one of my favorite things to discuss in the paranormal and also research. So there's so many urban legends within the paranormal community. Many of these stories can be heard all over the world, everything from the gates of hell to disappearing hitchhikers. Many of these stories stay the same from region to region, and sometimes there's just some variations of them all. So, a lot of these stories also have a huge basis in true crime. So, I am a huge fan of the link between urban legends, true crime, and the paranormal. So, I'm hoping to discuss some of these things from time to time and have some guests on to offer their own perspective on these things. So, we're going to dive right into it today. Today's show is we're focusing on the woman in white. Woman in white stories have pretty much existed everywhere around the world. So, when we talk about the woman in white, what exactly is it? These women are known for a tragic backstory, and it's a haunting, beautiful woman. The white lady spirits, as they're called, are said to be wandering forlornly, often tied to places where they meet their untimely deaths. So these women in white symbolize sorrow, loss, and unresolved grievances. The term white lady or woman in white often refers to the appearance of these ghosts who are typically seen wearing white dresses, symbolizing purity and tragedy. Today, I'm going to be sharing a story and legend from my area here in Pennsylvania. The White Lady of Gordon Mountain, also known as Broad Mountain. The most common story of this urban legend is on a full moon, you'd be traveling along Old Mountain Road between Hexerville, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and Gordon. You'll see a woman brushing her hair as she's sitting on a large stone along the road. So your car lights dim and the engine shuts off, and she gets up, walks to the car, and looks in all the windows searching for her murderer. Once she realizes her murder is not there, she just disappears. The car will start up and you can just drive away. Now, a lot of people have claimed to see her restless spirit wandering the woods where she lost her life, while others have reported hearing her cries for help. Now, this ghost story is based in true crime and on a real murder that occurred and is yet to be solved. Began around April 5th of 1925 when there was a gruesome discovery along the Old Mountain Road by people who were out there picking flowers. They saw this huge murder or large number of crows that were fussing over something that seemed to be back in the brush. And when they went over to like investigate, see, oh my God, what is that? They discovered the horrific remains of a murdered girl. Now, the unidentified girl had been badly beaten and her body was set on fire with little evidence at the scene. Police believed the girl was still alive when she was brought to the remote spot. They believe she fought for her life, but the fight ended with her being struck on the forehead just above her left eye by something blunt, like some type of blunt object. There was a large quantity of blood discovered under the leaves that were around the body, which to the police that showed them that she had in fact been most likely murdered at this remote spot. Police also discovered a rock that was near the body. And though it really didn't have any blood on it at the time, they truly believed that it was the weapon that struck the unfortunate girl on the head. Now, the coroner determined that the girl had been dead for between 4 and 10 days. Like, that is a long time to, like, just be, left for dead and nobody discovering you. They believe that the young woman was in her early 20s, but there are some accounts that I have found where they said she may have been between 16 and 28. She was also wearing an old wedding band, but there was no inscription, and she had a couple other cheaper rings on, and one was a twisted wire, and another one was a set of that had imitation or fake pearls on it. The remaining clothing that she had was showing that she was wearing a lavender, light purplish sweater that had like almost buckshot like buttons and a pink garter with buckles on it. So there were a lot of interviewing, of course, of the local people at the time. And a lot of them reported that they saw a small, dark colored, like coupe type of car that they seen making a bunch of trips, up and down the mountain. So the police at that time believed that this vehicle had taken the girl's body to that location, and then they made multiple trips for engine oil and other things, which were poured over the body before they set it on fire. Now, other reports stated that the body was initially believed to be the remains of Anna Richardson, who is also known as Anna Sullivan. And she had been missing about a week beforehand from Pottstown. And they believe the body of this young woman that was found was similar enough to that. Anna's neighbors really, in the beginning, identified the body as hers. But not long after they made that identification, it was discovered that Anna was very much alive, and she was not only alive, but she was living not too far away in the neighboring city of Shamokin. So by the end of the first week of the investigation, police rounded up about, a group of about, I believe, 7 people. There were 5 men and 2 women who they believed or thought were involved in the girl's death. Now, this group was arrested at the Sunset Inn. It was a roadhouse that was located on the lines of Columbia and Schuylkill County. That was like near Centralia and Schuylkill, on the line of the two counties, and like near the town of Centralia. And they were taken to Pottsville to be questioned, but they were later released. So the information that they were able to acquire at that time showed them that the unidentified girl may have been from Shamokin and was going by the name of either or both names, Lillian and Babe, while she was staying at the Sunset. They believed her full name was Lillian Tyler. She was 16, and she had last been seen in Mount Carmel. And her mother, Mrs. Frances O'Connor, came in and viewed the body, but she failed to positively identify it as her daughter. I mean, I can only imagine. Can you think about that? Like a body that was burned so severely, like how much was actually left for the mom to be able to identify her. Um, but the state police at the time were truly convinced that it was Lillian. But, they were all shocked because a couple weeks later, Lillian was discovered alive and in Detroit. So, despite the fact that they weren't able to positively identify the remains, what the murder did help them reveal was a prostitution ring that operated out of the Sunset Inn. So, the exact number of girls forced to work there, was not really known. It was just that they knew that this prostitution ring actually operated out of this end. But in the aftermath of the discovery of the unknown victim, that prostitution ring was literally shut down. So at after all of that and the fact that they weren't able to really identify the victim, they made a decision to have her body cremated. And this is when the situation really gets odd and takes a total swift of anything, completely goes off bizarre totally. The unidentified girl's head was removed and stored in a jar of chemicals in hopes of her one day being identified. And they made a cast of her head, and the cast was actually, ended up being a part of the collection at the Schuylkill County Historical Society. In that, to myself, like, it makes me wonder, like, in my beliefs, I know, like, you removed her head and left it in a jar separated from her body. Like, what implications does that have in the afterlife? Can someone tell me, please? So, soon after the murder, rumors began to circulate that the road was haunted. Now, some locals would later claim that they were responsible for these alleged hauntings and the creation of this alleged ghost. They said they would dress up in sheets and run around the mountainside to scare those that were searching for the murdered girl's spirit. But that wasn't explaining all of the sightings and all of the strangeness, because there wasn't just reports of like seeing spectral images and stuff. They actually had people claiming that they were hearing this young girl's cries for help. And a lot of others were claiming that they literally saw her roaming the woods near where her body was found. So, it's something that I found interesting. The image up on the screen is actually from, that road. And, look at that. I mean, it's such an eerie, crazy location. I can't even imagine. Woman in white sightings and stories, they do offer us a unique and haunting glimpse into the intersection of history and folklore and the supernatural. Do you guys have any stories of the woman in white from where you live? I would love to hear it. Share your stories with me. And I would love to share them on here, because urban legends and folklore and the supernatural and these hauntings, you know, do coincide with true crime. There's usually something that happened in that location to make that story happen. Well, guys, that's all I have for you today. I told you this was going to be a quick little episode. So that's all I have. So we will see you back next time. I hope to see you. I'll have some more guests coming up soon. From our friends at Got Knockers, Strange Knocks Magazine. Strange Knocks Magazine is your ultimate companion for exploring the enigmatic corners of our world. Delve into the shadows with us as we uncover the mysteries surrounding cryptids like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster, and examine the tantalizing possibility of extraterrestrial life visiting Earth. Our pages are filled with compelling true crime stories that defy conventional explanation, alongside mind-bending conspiracy theories that challenge the status quo. Whether you're a seasoned skeptic or a curious believer, Strange Knocks Magazine invites you to expand your horizons and entertain the unexplained. With captivating articles, expert interviews, and reader submissions, each issue promises to spark your imagination and thrill your sense of wonder. Join us in our quest to illuminate the unknown, one strange knock at a time. From our friends at Got Knockers, Strange Knocks Magazine, read the description for further information. Be a Moss Healing Collective in Milton, Pennsylvania, your one-stop shop for crystals, candles, herbs, books, divination tools, self-care, and healing. Amos offers a multitude of classes for your metaphysical and witchy needs. Check them out on Broadway Street in Milton, Pennsylvania. Amos Healing Collective. Look for more information in the description.